the Pioneer Brigade, which was the brainchild of William Rosecrans and James St. Clair Morton, did not expect to fight. Where they were right now, where we're standing, was the reserves. At least that's what Rosecrans had intended, because his main assault was going to happen on his left line, about 2 miles to our east, crossing the Stones River at McFadden Ford, and direct assault upon the city of Murfreesboro, hopefully driving the Confederates out of town. Well, first and foremost, crossing a swollen river in the middle of winter with an entire army, that's questionable in itself. I'm not sure I understand what Rosecrans was going for exactly. Half of the men had already crossed the river by the time the battle starts. He has to pull them back over. So the Pioneer Brigade plays a special role in that there were 20 men from each regiment, the best and the brightest. They had been removed from their service with their individual regiments, brought together in one brigade, nearly 3,000 of them. And we had about 1,700 here. The rest were in Nashville, still fortifying that city. Nashville would become the third most fortified city in the world outside of D.C. and Richmond during the Battle of Stone River. That's a feat in itself. Morton puts his men together, he rallies them, and they become one of the anchor points of this afternoon struggle. These guys had not trained together, they had not drilled together, they had not marched together. They were simply bridge builders and fortification makers. They were 1860s version of nerds. You know, they were not warriors. They did not have the warrior spirit that a lot of these guys did. But they ended up fighting on the afternoon, and they did it brilliantly. James St. Clair Morton rallies his troops in a way that not many men on this field did that. They were a ragtag bunch of geeky guys, and all 1,700 of them performed valiantly. They would take heavy casualties. They would retreat somewhat, but they would hold this line. This line was not intended to be a static line. Rosecrans intended it to be somewhat flexible because he knew from his intelligence that the Confederates were coming in waves. And he knew that if every wave, if we drop back 50 yards, that's okay, because we have 400 yards to the road, and that'll still give us enough room to save the road, and hopefully by dark we can reestablish ourselves, which is exactly what the Pioneer Brigade did after this morning. What you see behind you is the remnants of their earthworks. 150 years old. They extended in both directions for several hundred yards. We're lucky to have the small remnants that we do. Unfortunately, the citizens of this area turned it into their landfill. We're slowly but surely removing all of the things. We have to do it in a systematic manner because there might actually be some artifacts in there that aren't garbage.